Isaiah chapter 43, verse 18. When you have it, please say amen. Amen. Do you mind standing as we honor the reading of his word? Amen. And it reads, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, take a look, because I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls. Because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. Amen. Amen. We thank God for the reading of his word. You may be seated.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
The Lord told me, he asked me a question, and so I'll pose the question to you. Will you take the limits off me?
Come on. Good question. Good question.
Will you take the limits off me?
Hallelujah.
The Lord wants to know, will you take the limits off of him?
Good question. My God.
Now, you know we have speed limits. You know you can't ride too fast. And I like to walk because I'm a teach preacher. That's just me.
Amen.
I hoop a little bit at the end if the Lord may allow. But he says, will you know, when you're riding down the road, they have speed limits. And it's not so far you can go. Because if you go around a curve and they tell you if you go too fast, it's hazardous.
Right.
Some of you are treating God like he has speed limits, as if God can't go real fast, as if he got to take it slow. So God says, will you take the limits off of me? That's good.
Right.
Now, for those of you that like bargains, you know, you go to the grocery store and you have your coupons and they'll tell you, this is good for only $2. Because there's a limit. But God says, there's no limit with me. You treat me like I'm a coupon. I need to know, will you take the limit off of me?
You preaching already.
Thank you.
Will you take the limits off of God?
That's good. That's good.
Well, let's take it back to the text. I guess you say, well, how she pulled that meat off of that bone? Well, I'm going to show you in the text how I got there.
Okay.
If we take a look at the prophet Isaiah had a specific assignment.
Amen.
Isaiah's purpose, when Isaiah came up, he came up during the time of King Uzziah.
Right.
And he had an assignment, and his assignment was to remind the people who God is.
That's right.
They were in a period of idolatry. And they weren't serving God. They had forgotten that God was the holy God. They had forgotten that God was the God of Israel.
Right.
So the prophet Isaiah had a specific assignment.
Yeah.
He said, I come to remind you of who God is.
My God.
Come on.
Hallelujah.
Well, they had forgotten. Let's go back to the text.
Yes, Daddy.
He says, remember ye not the former things.
Yes.
Well, he says remember,
Right.
but I told you the job of Isaiah was to help them to remember.
Right.
But when we get to this text, it tells you to remember not.
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Come on.
Sounds like Isaiah a little confused.
Yeah.
I said, when you read, because I like to read the rest of the chapter, and when you read a little further, Isaiah was reminding them of who God was.
That's right.
So why is it that you're going to tell me now to forget?
Right.
Well, let's see what he was telling them to forget. Isaiah was saying, before you forget, let me remind you, let me take you back in history. Because God had a resume with the children of Israel. You can check the